Hello, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for coming back, and as always, huge massive thank you for the support. I really do appreciate it. So today I'm coming in and I'm starting the little collection of videos with the current members free gift over at Hunkydory Crafts, which is Tranquil Gardens. Now I am going to talk about the bundle, although the bundle is no longer available. I always buy the bundle because it's such good value for money. And this month you got the foiled card in the bundle, and the inserts you always get in the bundle anyway, but the foil card, usually it's adorable, scoreable, and then you either get a pad or a pocket pad. This month it was a pocket pad, which was super cute as well. But in my description I've put down the link for the actual kit, which is free as long as you're a member. You just sign up for free. And you'll just pay the postage on it. But if you want to use some of the elements that I'm going to be using today, unfortunately you will now have to buy them separately. You do have to get in quite quick with the bundle. Okay, so that being said, this is the Butterfly Kisses set. So we've got the two sort of larger toppers. We've got these two which could be on a card by themselves. May you find peace in life's tranquil moments and let your dreams take flight on this wonderful day. Loads of sentiments on this sheet: birthday wishes, thinking of you, butterfly kisses. And then you've got two sort of butterflies and then a rounded butterfly and three borders. The printed cardstock, again beautiful. You've got this pattern in the middle with the butterflies and the flowers on each side. And then you've got your foiled one with that image again foiled onto there, and then you've got this side plain. Again with the inserts, it was a paper pack, so double-sided paper. And the inserts that match, I think they're the same. Yes, they're the same. And I'm going to be using either the pink or the purple, I'm not quite sure on there. Okay, so let's just pop this back in order, and I'm going to pop this to the side. And we can get started with our card today. So I thought, I haven't done one in a while. I do one of these little, I call it a two-step cutting card, but it is sort of a card with three sort of squares on it. So the first thing I want to do is to cut this down. So this is a piece of 6x12 300 GSM cardstock, and I'm going to cut this down to 10 inches. So you've got a nice piece there that you can save in your bit box if you want to, or to throw away if you don't. Okay, so now what I need to do is do my cut lines. So I'm popping this up to the 2-inch mark, and I'm moving my blade down to 2 inch, and I'm going to cut from 2 to 6. Okay, let me just double check that right. Yeah, so that's 2 to 6, and then I'm going to move it up to the 4-inch mark, and I'm going to cut from 4 to 8. Okay, so you're going to have two lines that look like so. Let's put that out of the way for a moment and bring in the scoreboard. And I'm popping this on my scoreboard with the a line to the 2-inch on my left hand side, and I'm going to score from 2 down to that cut line, and then I'm going to score from 4 down to the second cut line. And then what I'm going to do is turn that over and do the same again. So 2 to the cut line, 4 to the second cut line, and you're going to end up with this sort of, you can just see all those squares there, lovely squares. Now when you're working on white card, it's easy to choose which side you want these to do. So I want a big square on my left hand side, and another big square on the right hand side at the bottom and the top. But if you turn it around, you can have that square at the top or the bottom. Now I do have to mention, because I did find this out and it wasn't something that I thought about, if you are doing this and cutting into a piece of pattern cardstock, I'm just easing these over, it might be worth just checking which way you're cutting them. There is a template on my I think it's on my YouTube, it's also on my Pinterest and my Facebook page. But yeah, if you're using pattern cardstock, just be aware of which way you're cutting, because you could end up, you know, having them in a way that you're not quite prepared for, let's put it that way. Okay, so now we've got our pieces here, so now I can start doing some chopping and cutting into. So I am going to use 2 pieces of the gold mirror mats. These are, I love these because they save me so much wastage, and I don't have loads of little bits sort of lying around. So I need, let's do the 2 big ones first of all. So I've got 2 4x4 pieces here. So I'm going to take that to 2 notches, or 1/8 under the 4-inch. And I'm just going to cut those 2 pieces. Save these bits because we will come back to them. And then I'm going to do a piece for the other side. Okay. Now all of these other pieces are 2x2. So we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of those. So I'm just going to take 1 notch off of 2 inches, or 1/8 of 2 inches on 2 sides. And use all these pieces up. There should be a bit left over on this, but let's just work our way around. Hopefully my cutting is not going to let me down, or the cardstock's not going to let me down, whatever the issue was. But it, you know, at least I showed you how I corrected it. And this is number 4. So this is the only thing with this card. It's beautiful when it's made up, but there is quite a bit of cutting. So we just need 3 more. Big piece and take that to, just going to save me a tiny bit of time. Right, so that should be the 7. What I'm going to do is just double check. Right, actually let me just, a good check of how sort of level these all are is if you put them all together, and you'll see if there's one that's a bit funky. So 1, 2, 3, yeah, that's perfect. Okay, and we've got 1 piece left over, which will go into the bit box. Okay. So I'm going to go with the foil cardstock on this one, and again I'm going to do those big pieces first of all, which are going to be 3 3/4 square. So I'm going to do that piece, I think maybe go there. I might swap them over, but I'll put it there for a moment. I'm thinking the topper, whichever one I put the topper on, is going to take up the majority of the space on the card, so you won't see a lot of it. Okay, now I am going to use some of the foil card. I think I'll use the foil card on these middle ones. So let's take another piece of 1 3/4 square. I'm going to cut 3 pieces. So 1. Actually, I need 4, I think. 2, 3. 4. And we'll pop that there for now. We can move those around, and I may change my mind on those. Let's pop that out of the way. And then I think I'm going to use the purple one. Again, I'm going to cut this at 1 3/4. And then that one's going to go there. That one's going to go there. That one's going to go there. Now, I'm not liking the fact that we've got this bit on here. Now, what I can do is I could come in with a little bit of this maybe instead. So let's just recut those. I can always punch bits out of those if I need to, those bits that I've already cut. So again, so sorry, apologies, you know how I like to change my mind on the fly. If you are a new visitor to my channel, thank you first of all for coming along for the ride, and if you've subscribed, thank you very much. What I will say, actually I need one more of those, is if you are looking for a channel that has a card that's been thought out, planned, maybe even made beforehand and then being made on screen, this is not the right place for you, because that's not what I do here. What I do is tend to take a kit. I have an idea of what I want to do in my head before I start, but naturally things do change as it goes along, so apologies. Okay, now let me grab my topper and then we can decide. So I think I'm going with this one, and I think we'll take the matching one here with Let Your Dreams Take Flight on This Wonderful Day. We may come in with some of the, you know, the buttons or something later, but for now, just for the planning of this, let's see how we want this to go. So because this card folds over, you do kind of see both, but it does make sense to put the topper on the front. I'm kind of thinking maybe it might be more sensible to do it that way round. We'll have that one there. We're not gonna, that's gonna really stand out on there then. Yep, that's the plan. Okay. So the glues I'm going to be using today, they are the glues I always use. They are Kalau all-purpose glue, which is this alcohol-based glue. And I also use the Kalau tacky glue just in my corners. I'm probably going to bring in the Hunkydory dotty tape pen as well for these papers. Now, I do use 2 glues. Mainly for video purposes really. I love the all-purpose glue. I think it's the best glue in the world, but it does have quite a long wiggle room time, which is perfect for new crafters. But when you're making a video, sometimes what can happen is you'll pop, let's say I'll pop this on and I'll move on to that side, and if my hand brushes this left hand side, it can move it, and then I might not notice. I think I've made a beautiful card. I'll get to the end when I'm decorating it and I'll think, oh my gosh, what's happened there? And it'll be too late to move it. It will have set. So the tacky glue, it does have a little bit of a wiggle room time, but nowhere near as long as the all-purpose. So I still get the benefit of having that wiggle room time with that sort of not having to worry about it moving. Now I could use either one of these glues. You know, if you are looking for a glue, you don't need to use both. They do both have their pros and cons. Like I say, there is that long window room of movement with the all-purpose, which can be a pro and a con. The tacky glue, you can't use it with paper, or I definitely wouldn't recommend that you use it with paper, because it can, the water content in the tacky glue can soak into the paper, and when you come back to your project, you'll go off, have a cup of tea, you'll come back, and what you'll find is that the paper has bubbled up. And although the person you're giving the card to probably won't even notice it, it'll be the only thing you see on that card. Because let's face it, we do like to criticise ourselves, don't we? But yeah, so you know, and these are not the only glues. You know, you may have something that works for you. This is something that's probably evolved over time. I think when I first started making videos, I wasn't using these glues. I was using other glues, and for whatever reason, maybe they were harder to get hold of, or maybe I just changed. I don't know. This is what I use now. It works for me. But I'm not necessarily saying this is the only way to craft, you know. It's a beautiful thing about craft, is that there's 100 ways to do the same thing. And there are millions of glues out there, probably some that I haven't even heard of. I have to say, I love the tacky glue. I also love, I don't know if it's going to be available anymore now that they're closing down, Creative Expressions glue is really cool. Who is it? Pin Flare glue, bookbinding glue. Love that. That's good glue. Again, a little bit of wiggle room, but wiggle room time, but not had a problem with it. I hear good things about tonic glue as well. I've not tried it myself, so I couldn't give you an opinion on it, but right, let's pop these ones in the middle because we know they are going there. I also love the Hunkydory dotty tape pen, and I kind of have said that at some point when my tacky glue runs out, let's just pop that up so I can see where that's going. When my tacky glue runs out, I probably will end up just going over to the tape pen rather than this tacky glue. I really do love that tape pen. I don't like the straight line one. That's a bit too quick a grab for me, but I do like the, to see what I mean about things moving, I do like the dotty one because you have got that repositionable element to it. So just making sure, so you see how that's still moving. Actually, I'll go with my smaller bits of card. For some reason they do float a little bit more, so, and then they can take longer to set. So when I use the dotty tape pen like I've done there, you can see you still get that floatability, but then when you're ready you can just press down where you've put those dots and that is set. Okay, so we're not using those, let's move those out of the way. And then we're going to use these ones, so let's make sure we've got them all the right way up. So these will have to use the tape pen because they are paper. I can still use the alcohol glue, which is the all-purpose, because that won't soak into the paper. and you could use either side of this. I'm kind of, we don't want that glue. Kind of going with the darker ones. And if it sticks down, like I say, with those glue dots, you've got that repositionable time. See, that is popping, and I don't like that. Okay, so this is looking very purple. Purple was my nephew's favourite colour, which is why I chose this one first. Well, when I get a pack, you'll probably find I usually choose the green or purples first. Green for my mum, purple for Anthony. There we go. And that's our decorated card blank. So that is a perfection there. Like I say, I might come in with some of those little squared ones. Makes sense too. So when you're popping the toppers on, because this is going to fold it over, you don't want to go too high. Obviously in the corner you're going to be fine. I'm probably going to put that in the corner because it's going to look better. But you don't want to go too high on any of these ones that fold over. Otherwise you're going to have like a bit of a lump there. So I'm just going to go in with some 2mm foam pads. Probably just going to put another 2 on just to make sure that stays where I put it. And currently my favourite way to ensure this doesn't stick before I'm ready is the purple glue stick. You can use the tacky glue as well. But this purple glue stick, it's really great. It makes it really slidey. I don't really need it there because I am on the right spot. I am going to go, having said just be a little careful because I'm going in that corner. I feel like I'm going to get away with these 2mm ones over here. Don't forget, if you've got your bigger book of alphabet and you've got a name that's 3 letters long, or you want to put an initial, or maybe you know, text talk HBD, happy birthday, or maybe you want an I love you, that sort of thing, or you can always go in on those. It looks really nice going along there, like dad, mum, I heart you, that sort of thing. Okay, so we did say we were going to look at some of these, and I think what I'm going to do is take, actually, not take that one, we'll take the ones with the same edges. So I've got, oh, we don't want a birthday wishes, and, okay, we'll go with this one. Take this little circle one in. So I think the things like butterfly kisses and stuff, I personally find them quite hard to use. And I'm just using 1mm on these just for a little bit difference. Yeah, I kind of find them difficult to use for me. Mainly because my family are not like kissy, I think. I would way rather have a thinking of you or a happy birthday sort of sentiment than a butterfly kisses and these sort of quite deep, meaningful ones. But that's just, I think, because of the way our family works. But I know there are a lot of people that do love them. Right, so let's pop that one there. Like I say, I'm just going to pop these on the front. Not putting anything on any of these others, although you will see them when they're open. If you want to, you can put those others on there. But I kind of feel, because I'm just aiming for it to look beautiful when it's made when it's opened. So I've got some purple gems. These came in a huge pack. I'll say huge, a biggish pack from Temu. They had, I think there was about, actually you can get them on AliExpress as well. There is this size pack of loads of different colours of gems. So you get this sort of square with these on. And it's really cheap as well. I can't remember what I paid, but it wasn't very much. Okay, and then I'm going to put 2 here. So I have decorated these ones, just not too much. I think I'm going to pop 2 on here just to finish this off. And this is going to be our card number 2, card number 1 even. Blimey, it is early. So we've got our little I call it a 2-step cutting because you're cutting in 2 steps, although there's 3 there. And that's going to be our first card. And I'm just going to get set up for card number 2. Okay, so for card number 2, I've taken another piece of that 6x12 and I've scored it in half just to make a little 6x6 tent fold. You could have it a side fold if you prefer. I do prefer a tent fold personally. So I'm going to bring in one of those gold mirror mats and I'm just going to take 2 notches or 1/8 of an inch off 2 of the sides just to give me that narrow white border that I really love. So let's just check that looks good. And I'm happy with that. Okay, so next I'm going to take this piece. Now I want to use this left hand side, but I want to use it slightly different configuration to the way it is. So what I'm going to do is take this other piece. Now I'm probably going to make a 6x6 card with it. So I'm just going to cut this to 5 3/4. Okay. Now this should be a little bit longer. It should be nearly 6, and it is. Okay. So I'm going to start by cutting that to 5 3/4 in length, because that's, we could have used some of those on that previous card. Okay, but that's not a problem. So this is what we've got at the moment. Now what I'm going to do is cut down that dotted line, okay, because that's not the way I want that. And I think actually I might just take a tiny bit more off there. Okay, just because I want that purple edge. And then I'm going to take half an inch off there. Okay, so the plan is to bring that along. I'm going to move this along here. I'm going to put some gold behind that border. Let's see if this will fit. Let's see what that is. So that is 1.5 plus 2 notches. So if I go to 1 3/4 by 5 3/4, so I'm going to the exact length of that. So it's just going to be a bit of gold on either side. And then we're going to have that going back into there. Now I also want to take out this green border, if I can get it out. It doesn't matter if I tear that because I'm cutting it straight anyway. There we go. So let's take that off and then cut that to 5 3/4 again. So we've got another piece there that we can use. I know I've cut it messy, but I could tidy that up. And this is going to go along there. You can't really see that, but I'll bring it in and show you. So the plan for this card base, so we're going to have our purple, we're using this as a border, and then this is going to go on here, bringing that gold back in on there, and then we're going to have our topper and things. So let's do some assembling away from the card for a moment. So again, just usual glues, same thing, same. And I saw this tip on Facebook, no, not Facebook, YouTube, that if you are like I am, so my glue is only up to here at the moment, if it's struggling to come out of the nib, if you kind of keep it on its side when you're not using it, the glue still flows up into that nib, so you don't have to wait quite as long for it to come out. So with this being a smaller bit, I'm actually going to use my tacky on there. I do prefer a wet glue, to be honest with you. They are my go-to. There we go. So starting to rebuild this back up. Actually, I'm going to use dots on here. Just got a feeling it might try and pop like some of those others did. So again, just going right to the top. Make sure it's even on both sides. Sorry, you might see my head a little bit. There we go, that's perfect. And then this one again. Some dots. I'll just use a little bit of tacky. But it should be nice and easy just to lay that over and bring that in. And what I might do as well, might just raise that up just a little bit. No, is this going to let me move it? This is when I faff. No, it's not. It's stuck. That's fine. It's just a little bit further down on the left hand side, but that's fine. I'll live with it. I think I am going to go with it flat. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to use tacky glue only on this one, just to show you can use one or the other. Just because I find if I've got a gap underneath, like there was a slight gap because of the card lengths, the tacky glue just pick that a little easier, or just connect with it a little easier than this one, mainly because I think because of the wiggle room time on it. I've done that straight now, and then I look at it and it's still not quite straight. There we go, happy with that. Okay, so this is our card length. Is it straight or is it not? It's fine. So my eyes not working. Okay, so at this point I can pop this onto my card. If you wanted to, instead of using that border, you could use a piece of lovely purple ribbon. Maybe you've got some of that shimmer card you want to add in. You could use green ribbon, you know, bring those colours back in. But it's just also, you don't, just because Hunkydory serves it to you on a plate this way, doesn't mean, you know, especially these backing cards, printed papers, printed cardstock, got foiled cardstock, doesn't mean you have to deal with it. You don't have to craft with it that way. So that is the plan. Do I want the thinking of you? No, I'm going to leave that. I don't need that one, so let's pop that out of the way. We'll need that one, but not for a minute. Okay, so now we just need to think about foam pads, and I'm thinking for this big one, going to go with 1mm. And what I'm going to do is just put them on this side first of all, because there's quite a lot of cardstock on this left hand side, which is going to come to about the same height. So let's just put them on that left hand side, right hand side rather. I'm going to pop these off. A little bit of purple glue stick. I'm going to use that, put it on there. And I think I'm going to come around about there. Yeah, I'm happy with that. And then this one, we're coming over it. So I need some pads like there, I think. I will pop one in the middle because I don't like it when it kind of bows down a little bit. And then I'm going to take one of these 1mm ones, we'll pop it across there, and then that should bring all of those to the right height. There we go. And just then purple glue stick. And the reason I do this is just to give me that bit of wiggle room time with these, because the foam pads, they can tend to grab really quickly. So this is perfect for just giving yourself that bit of room, that time to move things about if you're not happy. I'm thinking I'm probably going to come with these again, these little gems, and I'm going to go with 4 on this side, just as a trail upwards. So let's go for a big one there. And let's go, let's move that. There we go. Okay, so that is going to be card number 2. Of course they need an insert, which I have got because I've got the bigger pack. You would have to buy them separately now, unfortunately, because the bundle sold out. But that is just a cute and quick little tent fold card. Just rearranging that background, just showing you that you can do that, you're not limited to how it is presented. And then let's just bring in card number 1. Okay, so that was the Butterfly Kisses. So not many toppers left. I have used all of the big toppers on there, but I have got a birthday wishes, a thinking of you, those lovely borders. I've got that cardstock left, and I have got that foiled image as well. So that's going to be really easy to make a card, just the birthday wishes on there, and that's going to be a job done with that one. I can always use the pocket pad, as I got the bundle, to make a card if I need a topper on the other one. So just be aware that pocket pad is there, although sadly, like I say, you would have to buy it separately at the moment. But I will be back again next time with another set from this kit. There are 4, I believe. There usually are 4, so I'll do a video on each of those toppers. So thank you so much for watching today, and until next time, happy crafting. Bye.